Welcome to Akhand Vidyashram, the first institute of impeccable wisdom. Kushmanda, the fourth Chaitra Navratri, the fourth stage of Samana, fire or Prana. But before I proceed, let me share with you that I am only an instrument. Every video is being made after in consultation by Aditi, Gayatri, Durga, Mata Vaishno Devi, Adi Prashakti, and all the divinities as such. After what is revealed to me, I have been trying to put across my experience to the best of my ability. And I am only an instrument. It is not something which is designed by me, but what has been cognized by me in this life. I am trying to share that in the light of divine mathematics, physics, chemistry, medical sciences, and all the 64 arts which are important. So, in the process of now, in Chaitra Navratri, I have already done three: first, second, and third. Today is the fourth day. So, your fourth day, you are going to see something which is Kushmanda, what exactly it means, and right in the front picture in the center, you can see the Devyang picture. The outer is 22 by 21. Then you have 10 pentagons which represent Vishnu. 22 by 21 is Brahma, and right in the middle 5 are 0.34419, which is Lord Shiva. But in the sun 10 plus are planets which are important in the solar system, so are associated with 10 endocrine glands, 10 autonomic ganglions, and 10 things in the nervous system, which made me cognize that is 10.344 levels of consciousness, which I have shown with Devyank, B double helix, and also the other processes which I am talking about. So now one by one I would be revealing as I move on. Yesterday I had a put picture of Kushmanda by mistake. Let me make it very clear. I do not call anybody finding fault, because I do know we are born with no knowledge. We are learning from ignorance step by step and moving on one thing. But the difference between a person who is wise enough to move on, he or she has no difficulty in accepting their mistakes, but not make the same mistake again. And this journey from childhood till today, I have not made any conscious mistake after recognizing. But before the mistake is made through ignorance, I have the humility to accept that was a mistake, and that's what I moved on. Maybe because I accept the mistake and go higher, but not make the mistake again. There are many things I have realized as I've gone on. So in this particular process, between yesterday and today, what I recognize is this Navratri, the 9 days of Chaitra Navratri, have anything to do with Navagraha. And I think yesterday video which I put, which I deleted and made a new video, made me recognize that I had to put Chandra, moon, with adrenal gland. That is Chandra thing. And I think I do believe my Antaratma makes me do certain mistakes, then recognize that so that I don't make that mistake again. That is something which I want anybody and everybody to recognize. We are starting from zero. We are going to make mistakes. We have to accept the mistake, recognizing, and which is better go on, even if it needs to change to 100 times. And that should not be the criteria, and if required, do it. If not required, acknowledge it. But that is only way truthfully, honestly we can move up. So yesterday's lesson, what I had put in the morning, I deleted it, put a new one in the evening, and now I am putting the fourth one, which actually by mistake was done yesterday morning itself. I have accepted that I did not understand, because maybe unconsciously, but I did not make the mistake on my own knowingly. That's it. So Chandra is the third stage of the moon. Now when come to the question of Navagraha and Navratri, thing is very clear. Right at the bottom you see Earth, and I make it very clear, Earth is nothing but Rahu's head. That's it. Now we are going to see as we move on, and I'm going to show maybe next slide bringing Navagraha and relating it. So you are going to see all the things one by one put together honestly, truthfully and conscientiously. I want everybody to be a divine mathematician, scientist, to understand Sanskrit language and the ancient Indian concepts. I will not give it any name, not religion name, including in Sanatana Dharma itself. Let us concentrate on Akhand Vidyashram is trying to do to unite everything under divine mathematics with divine physics, divine chemistry, divine medical sciences and all the 64 arts. You're going to see many of the slides new, but you need to see the whole thing one by one. That's it. Now the first truth which I always say, truth is the first thing which will win. Satyamev Jayate. When you are holding on to truth, truth will save you. Truth will give you Satchit Anand. Truth will give you Anand. Truth will give you science. Truth will give you Brahman. Truth will give you everything on the earth. There is nothing other than the biggest shield for anyone in the other thing is only truth, 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 followed by ahimsa, 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 no violence of any nature, and then doing things systematic. But Patanjali also talks about it, but I also talk about some Akhand Yoga as such. Akhand Vidya also I talk about the same. So from that angle, Aham Brahmasmi is the greatest truth. Shibhushan Sharma is a just representation of Nirankur Nirgun Brahman. I am a Brahmin, I am in tune with Brahman, and that's why I am Brahmasmi. So I am a microcosmic representative, macrocosmic universe. This was told by our sages before, and I am just trying to prove it. How a perfect human body, perfect solar system, perfect spiral galaxy, first is universe as such, the core value is perfect and identical, and that is what I talk about it. Tat Tvam Asi. Divine nature and every object is identical based on Divyang as such. The day the world recognizes Tat Tvam Asi is a beautiful concept hidden, that there is a divine mathematics, everything is designed like that. Same thing with Aham Brahmasmi, and many things I've already spoken. Now one by one we conclude. At the same time, many great sages have said man is made in the image of God, whether Western or Indian, North Indian and South Indian, doesn't really matter. Anybody says we are made in the image of God is absolute great wisdom by and large. I consider Moses as a statement because I like his 10 commandments very well. That's it. But in this particular picture of spiral galaxies, you can see 10 plus suns. That means there are 10 plus spirals which make the design very clear. Similarly, this is something in Divyang. As we go, we are going to see one by one, much more detailed, much more comprehensive, with 4K description. Distance doesn't really matter. I am not at all bothered whether it's at 10 minutes or 15 minutes or 20 minutes. Whatever comes to my mind, whatever experience, I am going to share it. It is not for money, name, fame. I am not trying to entertain people. I am trying to make them think rationally and move on to higher and higher levels of horizon of universe, where the universe becomes one. That's the reason when we look up to the, have a difficulty, at least I do, immediately I look up to upstairs. You are perfect. Why am I making mistake? Show me the way so that I don't make the mistake. As on today, the happiest person on the world, Om Tat Sat, Satchit Anand, is Shibhushan Sharma. And that is what I am sharing, how I reached the stage of Sat Chit Anand. And that is the truth which I am talking about. Now come to the Mahisasura. He is a buffalo demon, I have already shown. and he could not be killed by any male member with any amount of power. That is a blessing he had. But he had made a mistake that a female could kill him. Perhaps he did not believe that female could have more power than a male as such. And I do not blame anybody. Anyone thinks males are more powerful than females, and I, as a male, do not agree with that. I still call whatever I have today is because of Aditi, Mata Vaishno Devi, Gayatri, Durga, Adi Prashakti, and Satchit Anand, etc. All the things, all the female deities only. All Antaratma is inert matter, is a female, is a complete as such. They are by themselves completely sold inside. Only in dynamism they produce light. When male and female come together, there is a brilliance of light. So every male and female have to work in unison with each other to become 100%. Males are only 38.1966%, females are 61.80. By themselves alone, they are deficient. When put together as a husband and wife are real consort with each other, they become a very powerful 100%, and that is Divyan, and that is what I have experienced, because I respect all the women of others as my mothers, as my sisters, as my daughters. My healthy relationship with the females by and large has made me rise higher and higher because I respect them. That's it. Now because Mahisasura has the power that no male could kill, so he started terrorizing everybody in all the three spheres. Among the Bhumi, earth, he killed, Antriksh he killed, and heaven also it killed. Right up to the gods and goddesses, he created havoc for everyone because he thinks nobody can kill him. That is the time all the gods, the goddesses, human beings talked together and prayed to divinity. Produce some goddess who can kill Mahisasura and save us from that. That is the time energies of all the gods, including Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, and all the gods plus all the goddesses, all the divine nature put together to form goddess Durga, and that's it. But let me also accept that till recently I was under the impression that goddess Durga has only 8 arms. But now I realize actually she has got 18 arms. And that has made me realize the beauty of even periodic table and the significance of 8 arms, which are actually I had attributed to Adi Parashakti. Now Adi Parashakti as well as goddess Durga, they have the identical 8 arms, and that is it. She represents divine mother of creation both for everything and saving at every level. I think that is what my experience which I am sharing with. Now this picture I have already shown. You have the Mahisasura buffalo demon Anse being killed. You see the Singh, the lion, the king of forest there, and she with 18 arms, that is killing Mahisasura. That's it. I think the beautiful thing which I realized, if this is Chamundeshwari temple in near Mysore, and maybe in next one I'm going to show you the temple with 7 layers and 18 this picture in the next one very clearly. Now in this particular picture I have shown Adi Parashakti, but in this picture you see Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh being created by Mahaprabhu, but you can see 9 petals on top and 9 petals on down, which is 18 again. So she is a divine mother, and trinity form she has created by the Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, or you can call Saraswati, Mahalakshmi, Mahakali. All the concepts are coming from Adi Parashakti. Adi means the first, Para means absolute, Shakti is the female. She has all the power, and same thing which I now realize is there in goddess Durga itself. I accept that's how I would like to put it hereafter, power with 18, so that we can understand things, science even better. Next one comes to 7 pillars of wisdom which I have realized. which is the foundation of wisdom. In the first one, I talk about Satya. That means truth is absolute wisdom to start with. Sat Chit Anand. Sat Mev Jayate. Om Tat Sat. Sat is Anand. Sat is Brahman. Sat is everything. Anything which is based on truth will take you to Dharma. Once you have the Dharma, then earth, kam, moksha will give you the moksha. That is what Ayurveda, dharma, earth, kam, moksha. But Satya and Dharma, these are the two things which I stand, and that is Advait. Me and my God, me and divinity are like that. They are based on that, nothing other than that. As a result of that, the first stage which I developed on Advait, to have a devotion for divinity which is within me and outside. If it is inside, it is Aditi. It is outside, it's Aditya. If it is higher, it is Durga, Gayatri, Adi, Prashakti as such. So, Advait to Dvait are the two things which Sanatana Dharma has talked about it for generations together. But I have come to give the world a third philosophy, Tret Para Vidya, the third stage, in which Shibhushan Sharma is the Jivatma, Antaratma Aditi is within, and Paramatma and the divine Nirgun Nirinkar Brahman is the third one. When three put together make me complete, I know about myself through Aditi, I know outside through Aditya, and all the gods and goddesses put together. As a result, I understand the impeccable wisdom through experience. Because of Bhakti Yoga, all my Arthik Nitis, now I have put earth, means Arthik Nitis, economics is based on Satya and Dharma and the devotion. My karma, action, thoughts, process, everything is based on Satya and Dharma. As a result, I have a moksha. When I say moksha, I do not mean deathless state. I do recognize in my earlier said Mrityu ma amrit gamya. That means from death to immortality, and that is moksha. In that moksha, even if my physical body die, my work will remain there for the world to follow hereafter. Now, whatever world does, living will always be remembered as my moksha, and I would be living in the hearts of all the humanity the way Yajnavalkya has been, and many other people who have talked about divine mathematics earlier, who are left, they are immortal because they have a moksha, because they are living through education. So education becomes a very important part. When you start learning education, philosophy at that stage, that will give you Gyan, Vidya first, which is a Chaturthi. The first thing which comes out is philosophy. Agyan to Gyan, Avidya to Avidya is how it is. But after understanding philosophy, you should go on to find scientific approach to see the consistency, and that is Vigyan. Science, Vidya is a Pancham level. Similarly, having seen the science, then you should try to go to absolute wisdom. From relativity to absolute wisdom, that is Pragyan in the symbolic form, that is a sixth stage, a sixth chakra. Then finally take it to Akhand Ganit Vidya. That means immediately you should bring the divine mathematics which is consistent, and maybe from Brahma Anka 22-21, pi of 22/7, and all the mathematical design which I have seen from childhood in Fibonacci sequence, Gordon ratio, and other concept in scientific approach. I found at the end it is Divyank, the Ganit Vidya. So as a result, Yantra Vidya, Mantra Vidya, Tantra Vidya, which is the Sanatana Dharma's contribution, I have added Ganit as the seventh portion to conclude. As a result, all the 64 arts can be understood, explained as one part without any deficiency. That is impeccable wisdom which Akhand Vidyashram is talking about. That is going to be the syllabus for all the students as we move on to accept that we want impeccable wisdom, because defective knowledge is not going to survive for long. Same Open AI, Chat GPT, today they are giving wrong information. Even if you look at the co-pilot on all the information you're getting, PowerPoint, this and that, are given with available knowledge which is deficient, and I'm trying to say this is deficient. tomorrow the whole thing, maybe another 5 years or 10 years, the knowledge which is clear without any doubt, once every scientist come to that level of Divyank, you will see a uniform syllabus for all the subjects. That's the day I would say I become moksha by and large. That is the reason I am making it detailed. We will not make something short. I want to look at every angle, leave behind the legacy in such a way that we cannot find fault at all. That is the image of Akhand Vidyashram. I would go for Akhand Vidyashram. I will not use any name of any religion, thought, science or otherwise, because in my opinion all have some deficiencies and I am trying to get over the deficiency, leave behind. Let me do my best, and I am sure everybody else would start making it even better and better as we move on. That should be the journey for impeccable wisdom. Now come to the starting. The first is Shalputri. As I said, I am a Dogra. Shal mean very good daughter is Putri, and that is the divine nature. That's the first stage of spiritual. That means only divine girl, perfect girl, would have the mind under control. Her physical body will be perfect, mind will be without fluctuation. Only when mind is without any fluctuation, without any deficiency, you can become a perfect. And that Shalputri has controlled the mind. Now mind is absolute wisdom. That means her Antaratma, Aditi, are the one which are talking of truth from there itself. That's where Shalputri, and I have understood Sanskrit better. Basically, I understand all the languages of India completely. From different languages, I have put different words as such, and Shal is a Dogri. That may be reason why I took birth in Dogri to this. So let me start Durga as a Shalputri, great daughter. Now comes the first. That means one's mind is under control. That is Patanjali says very clear. Chitta vritti nirodh. Stop the fluctuation mind. Only then your real self will come up. And that is also something nobody has translated. That Ashtanga Yoga is only for controlling the mind. But controlling the mind is not to kill it with the drugs or other thing. To have the mind as a powerful instrument to do beyond to talk to. Without the mind, without the Indriya, you cannot even communicate with the inner soul or Aditi. So only after mind is completely known, but enlightened mind, which can go to the buddhi, can go to mahat, intuition, intelligence, and one higher and higher level of Akhand Vidya, Akhand Gayatri, Akhand Ganit. Only then you reach a level of oneness with universal consciousness. That means Shalputri is the first sprouting of the root of higher evolution. That's the beginning starts move. So that way Shalputri has given me. Now I am going to show you how to rise systematically, have the mind to understand the impeccable wisdom. It's not to kill the mind with the drugs, alcohol, anything at all. People who have that, they should use through elimination. Once you remove the defect, mind will be only Satchit Anand. That's it. Now come to the Shalputri's thing. The first phonetic sound is Lam, and four petals and four sounds of Sanskrit are very given. This is the old picture based on Satchakratmana. Down is what Akhand Vidyashram talks about. Now I am trying to show with nervous system and ganglion empire, where the left and right paravertebral chain of 22 plus 22 plus 1, 45 ganglion together is a form of Ida Pingala with Mooladhara chakra, is what it is all about. But they come from 20 earth previous. That is also Divyank as such. So I am now trying to see, this is Divyank which has told me that sympathetic system is based on 45 by 28 is equivalent to Divyank ratio only of 1.618034. And that's the first example which in Shalputra itself I have seen. Now come to the question of after Shalputri, she is working on through Aditi now. And Aditi normally sleeps in Mooladhara chakra, or Kundalini sleeps in Mooladhara, and Kundalini means it's a Kundal spiral again. Aditi is helium 4. So that is where during waking consciousness It comes up after sleep to waking conscious to make sure the person, whether male or female, is perfectly healthy, wealthy, wise and happy. So having Mooladhara Chakra, you are required to flow with it, and that is automatically going to make you perfectly healthy, perfectly wealthy, perfectly wise, perfectly blissful. And those are the things which are written in three statements which Maharishi Yajnavalkya put: Astoma Satgamya, from untruth to the truth; Tamsoma Jyotirgam, from ignorance to light; Mrityurma Amritkam, from death take me to immortality. And immortality means even after your death you will be remembered. Now that is what Yajnavalkya said. What he has written in Brihad Upanishad, what he has done in other things, even today I remember him because he is immortal. He has given us a knowledge which I can say I have learned from him. He is immortal, and that is moksha which I am talking about. That is Shalputri's level itself you should be able to do. Now Shalputri's Mooladhara is associated with mother element and Bhumi, and also with the water element, you can see. But here, as I told in the beginning, I am bringing, maybe next time I will bring Navagraha in the process. Rahu, the head, is earth alone, and it's very clear in that part. And the first level of vertebrate is a fish which lives in the water and the earth, not out of water, cannot live. That's the first thing you're going to see in my picture of Akhand itself. Now Shalputri is a water element, it's a Matsya, it's a divine fish. This is Vishnu's first avatar also. Same thing with Durga's avatar and Vishnu's avatar. Now this is coming closer. So literally you see a parallel between Durga and Vishnu moving on step by step. No wonder goddess Durga, after killing Mahishasura, wanted to get married to Vishnu only. Then he said, no, you take birth again as a human being, as a Vaishnavi. Then move on to Trikuta mountain, understand Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, Saraswati, Mahalakshmi, Mahakamali, reach the level of goddess Durga in human form that I can get married to. And that is where all the incarnations of Vishnu are all about. They are ones who have taken birth. So fish is the first step on the evolution of vertebrates, which goes back to pre-birth stage itself of the first trimal layer. I think it's a beautiful thing which I have realized. This is how evolution starts. Then in this picture you can see, this is a picture which I had made for my first book, Akhand and Essential Consciousness, in 2002. Right in the center, the right side, you can see the fish very clearly there as it's floating, and that is Matsya as such. Now comes to the second stage of Brahmacharni. Girl who is perfect girls, perfectly understanding, is a Kanya, is a Putri, is a daughter, is a very worshipable daughter. Saputri, not Kaputri. That is Shalputri, Saputri is that. So she becomes Brahmachari once she starts producing menstrual cycle. So she becomes ready for divine mother stage, and Brahmachari does not mean she is asexual. She is the one who is going to be the divine mother for the next generation. So that is a stage which is very clear. It's the second stage of procreation which automatically comes up for a perfect man and perfect woman. They should get together so that next generation can be as perfect as divinity itself. Next stage of Brahmacharya, it is associated with sacral parasympathetic nervous system. As I told you, the first was a sympathetic union at the bottom, and I would give you another example that is like apana prana. That's one helps you to throw out all the dirt from your body. The purification of all inside the body is through apana prana, to throw it out. That is Mooladhara. But here it's a divine mother who's going to teach you how love, care with which the next generation should be. I expect every girl when she becomes brahmachari, get married in such a way and become the goddess at home. Your home is there, and you are the next generation to teach children to be perfect one by one. Only perfect children can be the enlighteners of the world, and that is what Aitreya Upanishad is talking about, Lokpalan, guardians for the world, where Apana has the role very clearly. So understand my concept. One video as mine is not enough. You got to see everything. Only at the end you will be enlightened. It cannot be done with one video. It has taken me 70 years. I am sure others might not need 70 years. They'll be able to do in 5 years. I am 100% sure. But 5 years you got to understand concept very clearly and move on. And particularly females, I am very clear, they are very worshipful to me. That's why the Shri is always before. They should become perfect, make the children perfect. Next generation of impeccable wisdom can be done by only perfect integrated human beings alone. So Brahmachari's role is to produce the next generation of Lokpalan, custodian guardians with impeccable wisdom, not terrorists, not negative people, not untruthful, not violent of any nature. Perfect. And this is where I see myself. My parents were perfect, I am perfect, and I am just trying to do perfection with the wisdom which is finally going to change. No one other than perfect and education of 64 arts can see the wisdom as such. So everybody should know all the languages, all the subjects put together. We human beings are quite capable of doing it. Then comes to the question of brahmacharya. He has got this second level. Sound is Vama mark, and Vama mark is connected with sexuality. And there are 6 petals, and same picture which I have made. One is Satchakra, one is by Akhand as such. Now the comes to the Brahmachari is connected with Venus, and also the Venus Shukra otherwise. Now their earth element, it is earth, it is Rahu. Brahmachari is Shukra or the Venus which plays a role for male and female. Shukra is a male concept, Venus is a female. Only when they put together they become perfect ideal consorts. And I'm not talking about husband and wife. Now we are talking about consort like Satyavan and Savitri. Only Satyavan and Savitri can do wonders for the life for generations together. And that is the most beautiful thing, how Savitri brought back the life of Satyavan even from God itself. And these are the wisdom which I am trying to show the world could transform as such one by one. Now come to the next stage of Kurma avatar. Fish to Kurma, tortoise. And incidentally, while talking about Sagar Manthan or Samundar Manthan or churning of the primordial ocean, it was the tortoise which was the foundation base for Meru mountain or Muranda mountain. From when the churning took between gods and between, when they say asuras and suras, I mean same. The one human being who is following truth is like a god. The person who is not following Aditi, perfection, is that every human being has that within ourselves. So this churning is within the body, and I would say Meru mountain is like my vertebral column, and this is the second stage from which energy would come up. And I think that is where testosterone has told me, which comes from here, is going to make me perfectly healthy, wealthy, wise and happy. For my physical health, muscular health, RBC, oxygen, intelligence, it's the testosterone for a male and estrogen for a female. Only when testosterone is converted in estradiol, the male becomes intelligent. Let me also tell you, more of testosterone and its conversion to estrogen is going to make a man perfect, or he has to become like a male and female. But incidentally, females already have estrogen, so they are always abundance. But then they have to come down and learn how to bring down, to learn the knowledge, and that is what it is. Now this particular picture, the second part from bottom, which was the fish, other picture. Now when fish turn together, the yellow portion in the form of is a tortoise alone. That is the water element. It's a yellow color. In that you can see Kurma. Now come to the physical part. As I told you, the first one is Apana. is the sympathetic system meeting together at the bottom, and that is the Apana Prana. Now, sacral is with 3 nerves, S2, S3, S4, out of 5 segments of sacrum are responsible for the one which control sexuality, reproductive organ and procreation, and you can see Devyankar again 3 into 5 as such. I think the beautiful part which I explained from my experience, I think brahmachari or brahmacharya together. And when I say brahmachari and brahmacharni does not mean asexual. They are the people with perfect character like Satyavan and Savitri. That's it. They should love each other, be one with each other, help each other to become perfect. Because next generation needs only brahmachari and brahmachar together who love each other and have produced healthy, wealthy, wise and happy next generation. So it is not asexual reproduction, it is united love which man can teach woman and woman can teach them, and together they could be great couple or consort by themselves. That is the beauty in brahmacharya. Now, as I told you, had I not been in tune with brahmacharni and of course divinity, with Divyank, only the perfect menstrual cycle shown to the world for the first time is by Shivbhushan Sharma in 2015 after Divyank. And I have given this as an example. I am saying how brahmacharya has given me the perfect human menstrual cycle for the first time in the history of mankind. No medical man has ever dreamt of it, and this is a perfect, nobody can find fault with it. Now come to the third stage of Chandraghanta, which was put yesterday. It's a divine fire. So what was Apana in Muladhara Chakra is a Samana here. Samana is the fire with which a digestion takes place in the system, and of course in adrenal gland to produce the fire energy to move on. So first is the earth, second is water, third is the fire, the bhumi, Agni. That is connected with the third step with adrenal gland. I think I've already explained yesterday. We are going to show it little further so that we can go how we are rising up higher and higher. But this is connected with Chandra, moon, Monday. And this is a picture of Chandraghanta. You can see very clearly is a fire element put together. You do not see anything other than this. You don't see a water element in her house. That's it. Now Chandraghanta has got a phonetics of Ram. So means Ram is important in Navi Chakra. It's got 10 petals. So what were 4 aksharas in Muladhara, 6 in Swadhisthana. In Navi you have 10. 4 plus 6 equal to 10. You can see the same Fibonacci sequence or Divyank sequence. And this is the Satchakra picture as well as my picture as such. There is a consistency. Now make it Chandraghanta is connected with the moon. And that's the reason moon is understood. That's why I am able to understand female, which is ascending and descending fluctuation. Once all the moon's properties are put together, only then you can understand. Moon can explain to you real light of Surya within ourselves. And that is what is Monday, moon and things, which is Chandra, mean again moon. Chandra is moon. Then it is connected with the third stage of Varaha Avatar, which is wild boar. That means revival of life is important. If Varaha saved earth itself from the ocean, and that is what you are seeing is so beautiful in the process. That means this particular Chandraghanta stage is connected with something which is going to save even us. And that is what I am going to show you now. As Varaha saved earth, at the same thing is going to save me, and how it saved me or others is what I am going to show as we move on. Now this picture you can see the blue part which is trident of Trishul actually is exactly the shape of Varaha as such. So you can see Varaha in this very clearly. But below Varaha you can see the round and 4 petals. They are nothing but a bird, Vasudev Kutumbam, eagle, which is coming up in between. You have the fish, you have kurma, you have eagle, and you have so-called Varaha which is going to save you on that part. Now come to the question of Vijayadashmi. It's the day Lord Rama killed Ravana, and Rama could not kill Ravan first 9 steps at all. Every time he attacked, he would fall, he will rise and fight again. Finally, when he was not at all succeeding in killing him, that is where Ravan's brother Vishish told him, you cannot kill him, his life is in navel, Navi. You attack him in Navi, only then you can kill him. That is a statement in Ramayana. And I do believe this is a greater statement which nobody has explained as such. What is impeccable spiritual wisdom in that? I don't think anyone till date has explained except Shiv Bhushan Sharma. Now we are going to see how it can be understood within the physical anatomy itself. Now Chandraghanta I connected with adrenal gland. That is the stage from where you loop up, and it is an emergency survival gland. Come what may, this will make you survive come what may be. But this adrenal gland has got a very peculiar structure. It is a 3 cortical layers plus 1 adrenal medulla. The 3 cortical layers, first, second and third, blood comes from outside, gets into first stage, same blood is carried to the second stage, comes to the third layer, then go to adrenal gland as a beautiful portal system as such. But the first layer produces mineralocorticoids, which is to preserve water and sodium and excrete the essential potassium. So minerals and water content is responsible by the first steroid, mineralocorticoid. The second layer produces glucocorticoids, which is responsible for glucose level. That means water is important, sodium is important, potassium is important, minerals are important, then glucose is important as a molecule for use, and that's given by the second one. The third one gives you endogens are testosterone and estrogen itself in third level. That means without that also you cannot survive. So I think that design is superb to make sure we will survive. But when finally comes to the whole thing to the medulla oblongata is able to produce adrenal sympathomimetic hormone. Once the 3 glands are complete, perfect, only then adrenal gland produced by this can save us. So that way I can see anyone whom adrenal gland is complete, perfect, come what may, nobody will be able to kill you. So finally death starts from there. Even the whole start of journey starts from the adrenal itself. Male become adrenal only because the testosterone produced in adrenal gland can help the male become male and then leave the female to the male part. So testosterone will make it male, make you male qualities of physical strength, muscular strength, RBC, hemoglobin, intelligence of the nature is with the testosterone from adrenal gland only. Anyone who is very powerful in sympathetic system should have catecholamines which will make sure, and all spiritual evolutions are connected with sympathetic hormones only. So sympathetic system is a plus to save us, but done without a control could be a problematic. That is what I am trying to explain step by step. Now come to the 4th step, the Kushmanda. That is for the day for today. As I told you, the first one is Apana. It is the physical health. Second is procreation. Third is the survival. Those the Kundalini moves between those 3 chakras automatically without any requirement for anything at all. But to move up to higher level, you need to learn things better. But when it comes to Samana Prana, is also automatically controlled because it is connected with digestion. So Kushmanda also it will move up and is the 4th level spiritual thing. For that matter, this is something which I connected with so-called Bhumi, Muladhara, Swadhisthana, Nabhi, and 4th level is you're going to see as the Samana Prana coming up, and what is the name of that is Manipura Chakra. And when I was initiated with simplified Kundalini Yoga, The whole movement was in Manipura chakra because I had gone after my breakfast. So my Kundalini has gone to digestion of the stomach itself. As a result, it was there. From there, he had brought it down to Ajna chakra. Again, coming to fourth level, Samana Prana is very natural process for Kundalini itself. So fourth level, it will move when you need for digestion. So that's the reason said when you say parasympathetic system, vagus nerve, rest, digest and conserve energy, just let it tick and take it easy. Don't do any intellectual work, let us finish it off. When digestion is over, only then you go for intellectual work is what I do. Maybe I am successful because I do not eat and do intellectual work. After this, I take up something which does not need intelligence. Once glucose is done, only then I do the intellectual work. That is at particular level. Now this is the picture, and you can see in her hand you have Amrit and also the Kushmanda. That means you got to Agni fire digestion is required because digestive system, Samana Prana, is for providing abundance of water, electrolyte, nutrients, everything to the world. That is Samana Prana. Kushmanda plays very important role. If you are pure vegetarian, drinking enough water, you are rehydrated, not dehydrated. There is enough glucose, there are minerals properly, sodium, potassium, everything is perfect, all the vitamins are there, everything is done very well. You will live a perfectly healthy, wealthy, wise and happy life. That means you will never fall sick. You can even reverse the aging. And I can tell you from my experience, I am 70 plus, but physiologically and biochemically I am as good as 21 years, maybe better than I have ever been. I have been able to do that a pure vegetarian diet without taking anything defect and understanding Ayurveda and the system completely. I can reverse the aging and I am much more vibrant in every way. And I think Kushmanda has given me the power of digestion, which I had a problem earlier, which I do not have a problem now. I think Mata Vaishno Devi or Durga and this Samana Prana, Kushmanda has taught me how I have to keep my digestion perfectly healthy, wealthy, wise and happy. And because that is source of all the energy comes from there. No wonder digestive system has got Samana Prana, also a pacemaker to produce peristaltic movement normally. I think I have learned that. We are going to see that also as we move on. Now come to the question of fourth is also Ram only, like Nabhi and Manipura, exactly the same 10 petals. I am not going to say much because they are contemporaries only. Then planet wise, it is Mercury here. That was Moon, Shukra. Shukra as far as Brahmachari is concerned. As far as Chandrakanta is the Moon, and Kushmanda, it is a Mercury, which is a neutral planet, like again girl only. It's a hermaphrodite, neither a male nor a female. It's more of energy which is equivalent for males and females. They do not make a difference between male dominant or female dominant as such. Now this is last. I think I will leave it at that. I don't think I need to go beyond. I think we're done. We are going to see same thing slowly to moving on to the next stage. I think enough for the day. Thank you very much. Thanks.